Kad je Paul Davis stigao iz Engleske u Dubrovnik prije 32 godine, nije znao što očekivati.
I just remember the shock of realizing that we were surrounded from all sides by an enemy, somebody intent on destruction. And they had big guns in the hills. There were warships just off the city that were shelling, and planes were dropping bombs. It was an attack from all sides, and it was a shock. I hadn't expected it to be so bad.
Unatoč svemu, nije ga bilo strah.
At that time, I'd already spent 10 years more being a war correspondent. I was used to being near conflict. What made this different was that I wasn't just near conflict. I'd become in the center of the conflict, and that was different. The hotel where the press was staying, the Argentina, was hit a number of times. One of my friends, a newspaper reporter, was shot and wounded just on the steps of the hotel. We were very much on the front line here. And the only time maybe you felt a little bit scared was at night when you were in your bed and it sounded like the war was being fought in the road outside. It was so close.
Paul uopće nije bio svjestan koliko će njegov boravak u Dubrovniku ispasti važan. To mu je sinulo tek nakon evakuacije, kad su on i njegov snimatelj ostali jedini strani novinari u gradu.
The most dramatic moments were when we had our cameras up on the walls of the city, and we could hear and then we could see the shells from the big guns that were on Jablanica and were firing into the city and dropping around us, and that was a shock. Not as much of a shock as when it started to hit the old city, because we weren't really expecting that. We thought that it was all around the old city, and we were thinking that there was a deliberate policy there to scare if you don't surrender, we will damage the old city. So when they did eventually attack the old city, that came as a bit of a shock.
Nakon što je Paul prokrijumčario snimke iz Dubrovnika, obišle su cijeli svijet i pokazale razmjer rata koji se događa na našem području. I upravo zato je dobitnik nagrade Dubrovnika za izniman doprinos promicanja povijesne istine u Domovinskom ratu.
I feel very grateful. Dubrovnik has had a special place in my heart for many, many years, and it was one of the most dramatic times of my career. I worked as a journalist for 52 years. I retired last year. I finished last year, but for 52 years, and I covered 20 years of covering war zones. And Dubrovnik is one of the most, if not the most special moment. So it was very, very, very much an honor to be invited back. I didn't come back here for about 25 years. And then when I did come back, I was shocked to realize that people had remembered what we did and how important they felt it was. So that was nice. But to be invited back again to receive this honor, I think that's one of the most special things of my career.
A bila je to uistinu bogata karijera, puna nagrada i priznanja, a jedno od njih je i kraljičina medalja. Paul je poručio da će se definitivno vratiti i da se nada da će doći i njegova djeca i unuci, da bi vidjeli ljepotu grada, ali se i prisjetili dana kad je Paul snimao strašan napad na Dubrovnik.